Another great story. The hits just keep on coming. Amid the ongoing lawsuits that are being leveled against Pornhub. This is, I think, the biggest porn website, certainly one of the biggest names in porn. It's owned by a company called MindGeek, and I guess they own lots of other properties and websites too. There are lawsuits now because these porn sites host child pornography and rape content and all sorts of illegal content. And in part, this is because the limits on who can upload what and how the videos stay up and how the videos are taken down, they're not really well defined. It's not as though for every video that's uploaded to one of these websites, they're checking people's ID cards, making sure people are over 18, making sure that the women who are in these videos weren't drugged or coerced or anything like that. So there's all sorts of outright illegal material on these websites. Furthermore, all of the material is by definition obscene. We have laws against obscenity in this country. We had laws passed in the late 1990s, bipartisan support passed to limit porn on the internet, and unfortunately a bunch of groomer, creepy judges shot that down baselessly. So you could, if you wanted, if there were the political will, you could take down these behemoths right now. Well, the market might be taking down the porn websites before even the political order will. Visa is now suspending ad payments on Pornhub and other MindGeek websites. MasterCard had already suspended use on Pornhub, and now they're suspending use of its card for advertising payments on other websites owned by MindGeek. The lawsuit in particular right now that is doing this is a woman who said that her boyfriend uploaded a video of her from when she was 13 years old. 13. It's not like we're talking at 17 and a half here. Clearly, this girl must have been very, very underage, and yet it was proliferating all around these platforms. And so it's a really clear-cut case. Visa, MasterCard, they're not doing this. As far as I'm concerned, we should take down the big porn giants by any means necessary. The political order, lawsuits, obviously there's some politics involved here. Then there's market forces involved because the companies don't want to catch the flack, and they're getting activists calling them and saying, you're facilitating child pornography, you're facilitating rape, so they don't want it all. I don't care, whatever it is. There is no right to porn. There is no right to make money on the sexual exploitation of women, and in some cases children. Take it down. By the way, not only because some of this content is very, very clearly illegal. Even if the content weren't illegal, we should still fight against porn. Why? One, because it's wrong. But two, I don't want to just sound like the church lady here. Two, because it is harming a huge number of people in this country. Every single week in my mailbag, I get so many questions from young men who are talking about how porn has ruined their lives. We read a study on the show, this was a long time ago. There's a study that the average age that a young boy is exposed to hardcore porn on the internet is like 11, I think. The vast majority of men have looked at porn at some point in their lives, and a growing number of women have looked at it and struggled with the temptation to look at it as well. And it's really messing them up. You're seeing huge numbers of men who are experiencing erectile dysfunction because they've gotten their brains so turned to scrambled eggs on porn. They have all sorts of problems in relationships. They're experiencing depression, anxiety. I could go on, and I've actually stopped even reading all of these questions in the mailbag because they're so repetitive, because so many people are writing in with the exact same problems. And porn is a really good issue here because I don't think I'm being hyperbolic when I say high-speed internet porn is one of the biggest political problems in America. Why? Because it's in part a technological problem. 20 years ago, this did not exist. 20 years ago, or I don't know, I guess maybe you'd say 30 years ago at this point, if you wanted to go look at porn, you'd have to go to the seedy part of town and go into some scuzzy-looking shop, and there would be enough shame involved in all of that you just wouldn't do it. Or you'd have to go to the magazine store and go to the rack in the back at the top and buy a Playboy or a Penthouse magazine or whatever. Now, we all have portals to hell in our pockets, okay? Or on our laptops or on our iPads or wherever. And the sort of porn that is available is way more intense than your uncle's Playboy from the 70s, okay? Way, way more intense. And there are a ton of psychological studies on this. It just really messes people up. And if you just look at the statistics on it. If you've got a country where the vast majority of people are in a state of perpetual grave mortal sin that they can't escape from, that they want to escape from, but they're too addicted to, you are not going to have a flourishing political order. You just can't. A good comparison would be to drugs. If you had a country where 90% of men and some other large number of women were all hooked on heroin all the time, you would not have a good political order. And so I'm all for this. Wield government power to stop this stuff. I would say the same thing for drugs. We didn't get to the Brittany Griner story right now. We'll get to Brittany Griner maybe tomorrow or later on this week. But so many people are complaining about Brittany Griner because she's being sentenced to jail for using drugs. They're saying, oh, she shouldn't be sentenced for that long, or it shouldn't be 9 years. The sentence in Russia is not unusual. It's not like she's just being selectively prosecuted because she's an American and it gives them leverage. This just is the punishment for drugs in Russia. We used to have much tougher punishment for drugs in America. We used to have much tougher punishment for porn and obscenity in America. We used to have much tougher punishments in years past. And maybe right now, you're trying to grapple with this idea. Because you're saying, look, I don't think we should have tough drug laws. I don't think we should have tough laws on obscenity or sex or whatever, weird kind of vice stuff. I don't think we should have any of that. But then ask yourself this question. Do you think America today is a better country than it was 20, 30 years ago? Do you really think that? You really think 2022 alters to your abortion, transing the little kids? Everyone, especially on the porn issue, totally messed up on this weird sex stuff. Highest rates of drug overdoses ever. Average life expectancy declining in the United States, driven in large part by drug overdoses. You're really going to tell me that all those policies of liberalizing and letting up and getting rid of some of those laws, you really think that's worked out? I don't think it's worked out at all. And they're going to call us, when we want to reinstitute these kind of rules, they're going to call us authoritarian, fascist, illiberal. Because what? Because we want to restore some of the normal laws that exist everywhere else in the world that existed here 20, 30 years ago? I don't think so, Buster. I think we got to do that. I think we got to start wielding politics, not to create some utopian society, but just to go back to the much more sane society that we had not that long ago. I'm glad you like that clip. Now, look, we made it to 1 million subscribers. That's really great. I'm getting my gold play button from YouTube. It's fabulous. They haven't nuked me yet. Wonderful. Now, next goal, 1 trillion. I want to get to 1 trillion subscribers. I can't do that without your help. You need to ring, ding, dong, like, subscribe, whatever you got to do. Get the notifications. We'll see you next time.